Right, hi guys, and welcome back to the Moaning Yorkshireman, and welcome back to sort of like another love-hate relationship series, I guess. So last week I did my top 5 most impressive drivers of the Formula E season, and I also did my top 5 worst drivers of the Formula E season of Season 9. So this week I thought, what better way to do it whilst we're still in the summer break of Formula 1, to do my top 5 drivers in this episode, and then on Thursday's episode, to do the top 5 worst drivers. So if you saw what happened last week, this episode is very much all love and kittens and oh, you go hun, you go get 'em girl, you're doing a great job, I love you to pieces. So this is all very much the high praising, high ranking episode. I think these are the top 5 drivers in the current Formula 1 season so far. I think they've done great jobs in vehicles that maybe aren't as fast as the others. There's some out there dominating. There's some that have been a genuine surprise. So a nice top 5 here where we're going to get all love it and cushed it and all nice and smiley and oh God, aren't you great, hun. So yeah, look forward to that. But before we kick the episode off, I thought to do a little bit of a giveaway as well while we're watching and while people are here, while we're in the summer break and things like that. And while this is a nice episode, I thought I'd do a little bit of a giveaway because I've not done one of them since the 1,000 subscriber special, of course. And yeah, all you've got to do is comment on the video. Your first initial comment, obviously if you comment another one, those won't count, but your first initial comment, and then I'll just pick someone at random, probably using a random number generator. I'll put the comments as a number, so if you're the first one to comment on the video, that'll be number 1. Second comment gets number 2. That's how it's going to work anyway. And what you can win is a Lando Norris t-shirt. It's from the 2022 season, so not quite up to date. It's extra large. Yeah, so it's very particular in size, but what can I do with the t-shirt? I've gone for the fact that mainly people are fat these days. And unfortunately, I'm double XL. So, yeah, I need an extra X on that for it to be able to fit me. So, yeah, there you go, a Lando Norris, a genuine McLaren Lando Norris t-shirt, never been out of the packet, looking absolutely delicious there, and you can win this. So yeah, just leave your, just drop a comment in the video below, in this video, and I'll pick the winner on Thursday's episode. How's about that? So if you tune into Thursday's episode, you can find out you win, and then I'll send you my email and get your address, and we'll send that off for you. How does that sound? There you go, lovely. And also, before we kick things off as well, some surprising news. I'm still not monetized on YouTube yet, but because I've been doing so well recently, I have now been assigned my own personal person, I guess, for this series, not the series, this channel, where I can go to them for advice and they can give me advice and stuff like that. I won't tell you his name, he's called Stephen. But yeah, I've been assigned this person, Stephen, and yeah, apparently he's been looking at the channel and already overviewing it and things, and he says, yeah, I do some good topics and stuff like that. And he said the best way that you're going to go forward with your channel is to make the videos not as date and time stamped, so to speak. So I thought, what better way to do than tell you that the episode's out on Thursday and to do a giveaway, because obviously the giveaway is not nil and void now, isn't it? As soon as you see this video, people comment on it, it's nil and void. So yeah, thanks Stephen, I'll take your advice. Oh, and I did get a free Greg's Donut as well, I've got to tell you about that. I was given a complimentary voucher for Greg's off YouTube as well, so that was very nice. I got a donut. I could have had a donut or a sausage roll, and I weren't feeling sausage rolly. I was feeling very donutty. Anyway, what the fuck am I talking about? We're here to talk about the top 5 drivers. Bearing in mind, you can win a t-shirt as well, so come on, guys. I'm glad you got this far. So, we're talking about the top 5. So, these are the top 5 drivers that I think have done the best this season. So, we're going to go from 5th best to 1st best. And the 1st best, I believe, is genuinely the best driver on the grid at the moment that's done the great job. So, you can see where it works out. Anyway, without further ado, because I'm waffling and talking absolute bollocks, the top 5, my number 5 driver is Alex Albon. I've put Alex Albon in 5th place in the Williams because he has scored all 11 points of Williams total so far and is currently hanging on to 7th place in the Constructors' title. He's done some fantastic drives this season as Alex, mainly races where you wouldn't expect a Williams to finish, I've got to be honest. The 11th place in Hungary was quite a positive, just 1 position away from points, held off Bottas at the end. it was a great job at a circuit that doesn't suit the Williams car. He's also done some fantastic performances, of course, Bahrain in the first race of the season, scoring that first point. He's just done a sublime job, hasn't he? He really, really has. He's been, everywhere he's gone, he's been consistently good. And sometimes the strategy, like at Belgium, strategy wasn't there to capitalise on points at a circuit where points should have been possible. But that's racing at times. And when you're in a car that is sometimes difficult to drive, you expect it to be good somewhere, and sometimes it just isn't. But I am hopeful with Zandvoort coming up after the summer break, and with Monza to follow that, I think those are two circuits there where Alex will thrive, and I really do think he'll deliver the goods and pick up more points for Williams in both of those, if not the very least one of those races. So, yeah, keeping my fingers and toes crossed for that, but I couldn't not put Alex on this top 5 list. Apart from the Australia incident, of course, where he was running around in 7th before he had the incident and went off, causing the first of the red flags. You know, that was the only mistake he has made this season. And he bounced back and did brilliantly well after that, didn't he? He's put, like I say, he's had a 7th place finish. He's had a couple of 10ths. He's been doing fantastically well and really is driving the Williams team to points and positions. Sometimes it doesn't deserve to be in, but we've got to be realistic as well. That car, the Williams car, is not the backmarker car now this season. It really isn't. So Alex is still putting in some impeccable performances, but the reason he's 5th on this list is because some of those performances, yeah, should have come. You know, the car has been better at some circuits than others, and sometimes it has genuinely looked like a solid point-scoring car. So he has delivered the goods at times. Just that one Australia moment knocks him down for me personally, but that being said, Alex, stunning first half of the season so far, and thoroughly deserves 5th place on this list. In 4th place, I have gone for Yuki Tsunoda. Now, incredibly controversial by some, I'm sure you'll agree. Some people won't agree with that at all. Some people do think that Tsunoda's still very average. Well, he has picked up 3 crucial points for AlphaTauri this season so far. 3 10th place finishes. And yeah, they're still bottom of the rankings, but the way Tsunoda's going, I honestly can see him looking into some good points. I mean, let's not forget Belgium. He was running as high as 6th in that race. 6th place in that AlphaTauri. And I don't care what your thoughts and feelings about the actual true pace of the AlphaTauri, whether Yuki Tsunoda's getting the maximum out of it at every race or not. That was bloody impressive. That AlphaTauri wouldn't have been any higher than 6th sticking any other driver in it. You could have put Max Verstappen in that car at Belgium, and driving as high as 6th was probably the best that he was ever going to do as well. That was a fantastic performance, and to hang on to that final points paying position was absolutely fantastic. It really was. He drove so well and so hard to secure that point. The other point came in Australia, of course, where he sort of looked into it with all the shenanigans that went on after the second red flag period. But he'd had 11th place after 11th place after 11th place up until that point, and deserved finally a bit of luck to go his way to secure that points paying position. So for me personally, Yuki Tsunoda is 4th on this list. Everyone's tipping that Daniel Ricciardo's going to smash the shit out of him now he's here. While Hungary, it didn't really tell the true picture, just because Ricciardo did out-qualify him and in the end did out-race him. It didn't tell the full picture with the strategy. And then at Belgium, at Spa, Daniel Ricciardo was at the back all race. Yuki Tsunoda was as high as 6th and secured a points-paying position. So I think that's all you need to know about Yuki Tsunoda for me personally. I don't think Daniel Ricciardo coming alongside him has phased him at all. I really do think he's just going to knuckle down even harder now, and maybe scrape into the points a couple more times this season. You know, maybe qualifying Daniel Ricciardo will be better over a single lap, and maybe we'll get to see the qualifying battle go in Daniel Ricciardo's favour, but I honestly think that the racecraft that Yuki Tsunoda has shown this season, making some fantastic lap 1 performances, gaining a lot of places, I think Tsunoda is still the one to watch at AlphaTauri, and I really do think they're assessing the two of them together now. And at the minute, for me, even after these 2 races, I still think it's advantage Yuki, doing a stunning job. So yeah, Yuki Tsunoda, 4th on this list. He's had 1 mistake. I've given him 1 Latifi of the week on the Crawl Room series. I can't remember where that was for. Was that? I can't remember where that was for, actually. But he'd had a very unspectacular race somewhere, didn't it? Was it Canada? Can't quite remember, but nonetheless, he has had 1 bad race, similar to Alex, you know, similar to Albon, where he was very anonymous. But yeah, overall, 4th place on this list to Yuki Tsunoda. In 3rd place, I have gone for Lewis Hamilton. I don't know if that'll surprise people or not. I don't really know, to be honest. But for me personally, Lewis Hamilton this season has just knuckled down, hasn't he? He really has just knuckled down and delivered the goods. You think if we'd have gone last year and I'd have done this, Hamilton would have firmly been in the 5 worst drivers because he was doing dog shit in races. And let's not. And I know people were saying, "Oh, it's all these experimental setups and isn't he a goddess and all this lot." That was last season, And half the time I didn't believe it because I was thinking, hang on a minute. I don't care. You could stick Max Verstappen on 3 wheels. You could stick Lewis Hamilton on three wheels, in previous seasons, and he'd still win a race. And I just thought he'd lost his mojo. I think he'd lost his fight. And to be honest, I think 2022 was him recovering from what happened in 2021. Now you look back and see how well he's doing this season. It wouldn't surprise me if it took him a full year to get over what happened. And I think that is what happened. I think 2022 was a dud season for Lewis because of what happened at the end of 2021. The less said about it, the better. But this season, he's just hit the ground running, hasn't it? He really has. I mean, the Mercedes car has somehow managed to score less points this season than it had this time last year. But that's mainly down to George. Lewis Hamilton has always been there or thereabouts. He's picked up some fantastic podiums. Some of them lucky, admittedly. The likes of Silverstone, for example, the timing with the safety car. But Hamilton has been in those positions to capitalise. In last season, he was nowhere near. This season, he's got the measure of George in qualifying. He's got the measure of George in the races. He's put some fantastic performances in, and he's pushing the team forward. So, yeah, I can't really think of anything that Lewis has done wrong this season either, to be honest with you. I think there might have been a couple of mediocre performances. Maybe Miami springs to mind for some reason, or I'm mixing him up with George again. But, apart from a couple of bland races, but still picking up the points, I think we're seeing the usual Lewis back now, and I think he's really got the fire in his belly. He's got the hunger to win again. He's had the pole position at Hungary, of course. It was a shame he slipped down at the start, just a poor getaway slipping him to 4th. But, he's had the opportunities. He's delivered the good results. He's done really well at times. And overall, I think with the car he's got at the moment, the Mercedes car seems worse now. It's got side pods, which is crazy to say, but it just does. Lewis Hamilton for me has been a great driver so far this season, and he's 3rd on my list. So maybe controversial that one, I'm not sure, but for me, Lewis Hamilton certainly deserves 3rd place on this list for me personally. Anyway, 2nd on this list we come to Max Verstappen. I don't think it comes as any surprise to anyone to see Max on this list. Max. I mean, what could you say? There's not really much to say. It's just been dominance. Red Bull and dominance Max Verstappen, hasn't it? It really has. Max has not done anything wrong this season. He has been perfect, really. He's been perfect. The Miami qualifying was a mistake, but he rectified that with a win. What else have we seen from him this season? Not really any errors, to be honest. Nothing much going wrong at all, really. He had the crash in the pit lane at Silverstone, didn't he? Which was quite funny in qualifying. But, for the most part, he's done a solid job. There's nothing that you can really fault him with. The only reason why he's 2nd on this list and not winning is because of his overall attitude. He's had the tiff with his race engineer, Gianpiero Lambiase. He's had the run-ins with him over, we should have done this, we should have done that for strategy in qualifying, we only just got through, etc, blah blah blah. And with the advantage he's got in the championship, I don't think it's needed. I don't think it's warranted. You win together and you lose together. He's not lost together yet. His worst place finish is a 2nd place. And I don't think there's anything that should be really wrong and shouldn't be criticised. He kicked off a moan at Saudi, didn't he? Because he had the gearbox issue and finished 2nd to Checo that race. There's little things there that just make me think, you're just a knob, And with winning a lot of races comes arrogance, of course it does, and I know every driver believes in their own ability, but for me personally, Max has done a fantastic job this year, but some of the comments he has made, not just to the press but with his team, have been 100% needless, given the car he's been given, the strategies that they put him on enable to win even when he's not in winning positions. Miami is the perfect example of that. They've done an incredible job, Red Bull and Max Verstappen as a team. And Max just needs to learn at times that something isn't going to go your way at some point soon. And to embrace that and just say, yeah, come on, lads, we'll get him again next time. You know, believe in your own ability, absolutely, but you've got to believe in the team. And sometimes it seems like there's still trust issues even now. He always complains about gear shifts as well, but they always get rectified, they always get sorted. He always wins the bloody race, he always gets pole position, he always gets fastest lap, he always wins a sprint race, he always wins sprint qualifying. Like, there's no need to moan. You know, little errors are going to slip in. You've got to keep teams in line. You've got to keep them in check. You've got to make sure your team doesn't get complacent. Absolutely. But win as a team, lose as a team. Max just needs to sort his attitude out a little bit and maybe only use it when it's warranted. Or if he does have a gripe, do it behind closed doors. We don't need to hear it. We don't need to see it. So yeah, Max Verstappen, second on this list. So, here we go then. Numero un. Who's it gonna be? Oh, of course it is. You know it. You know it, don't you? It's No, it's not Nick de Vries, no. It is Fernando Alonso. Alonso, what could be said for this season? Proved me wrong. Proved a lot of people wrong. You know, not just with himself, but also with Aston Martin as a team. Like, I expected him to do absolutely nothing this year. I expected Alonso to do quite well in the racing, don't get me wrong. I expected him to be the lead team driver, absolutely. We got that spot on. But I expected these brilliant results were going to be 5th, 6th, 7th, you know. Not podiums every race. Well, that's what happened in the first few races anyway, didn't it? We had podium after podium after podium. And we had a duff weekend at Spain where he finished 8th, I think it was, behind Stroll. But again, that race was like, look, I could overtake him, but I'm not gonna. Tell Lance he can have 7th. I'll be happy here where I am. And we'll just stay as we are. Every other race, he's driven all over him, driven all round him. And he has brought home podiums, points, champagne, fun, laughter, enjoyment. To a driver that I really thought cost McLaren their opportunities at times. I thought it was a toxic environment that he created at McLaren back in the McLaren Honda days. And I think he'd turned into a bit of a bitter egg that he'd made so many poor driver decisions in terms of, oh, I'm going to race here now, then the slow. Oh, I'm going to race here now, oh, the slow again. You know, but he seems to have knuckled down. The Alpine days weren't too bad, and he seemed to build up a good relationship with Esteban Ocon and the team, which is not something we've seen previously from Alonso. You know, there's always tends to be a lover's tiff between him and a teammate, or he has something critical to say about a team. And then he's come into Aston Martin, he's walked into that job role, and he's like, right, I'm delivering you the goods, lads. I'm doing fantastic, and that is exactly what he's done. He's just delivered the goods, done incredibly well. There's nothing I can fault. You know, he's had that one sprint race, hasn't he? That one sprint race where he made a mistake at Spa. And he was down there because his teammate shunted anyway, so he couldn't get a lap in the sprint qualifying. And then just made a mistake and stuck in the gravel. That is the first mistake we've seen of Alonso all season long. And I think that's probably the only one we're going to see. So, yeah, the performance of the Aston Martin seems to have petered off a little bit now. We're not seeing the regular podiums, but we're still seeing top 5 finishes from him. You know, he's finishing behind the Red Bulls, the 2 Mercedes, or maybe a Mercedes and a Ferrari of Hamilton and Leclerc, and he's finishing 5th. You know, he's doing an incredible job. So yeah, for me, Alonso has to be the driver of the season so far anyway. And he's well blown away my expectations, absolutely. And I'm sure he's blown others away as well. But yeah, Fernando Alonso is number 1. So anyway, guys, those were my top 5 drivers of the season so far. And before I end the video, I'm going to give an honourable mention. There is one honourable mention that I would like to give one driver. Didn't think he was quite worthy to go on this list, but I'm gutted that I didn't include him. And it is Nico Hülkenberg. I think he has done an absolutely fantastic job this season for the Haas team. He scored 9 points of the 11 that Haas have scored at the moment, if I remember that rightly. He's done incredibly well. He's put the car in places it doesn't deserve to be in qualifying. He's had a fantastic Austria sprint qualifying race where he came back on the intermediate tyres and pitted for the slicks. He's just done so well. And then, you know, in the races where he's qualified really well, the tyre degradation gets him. He tumbles down the order and he has a lacklustre race and finishes 14th. But that is no fault of Nico Hülkenberg. He is doing everything that Haas have asked for him. People were very reluctant to think that Nico Hülkenberg was any good this season and think, oh, well, he's well past it. He didn't deserve this opportunity. They should have kept Mick. but he has really delivered the goods and done exactly what's expected of him. You know, he can't help the tyre degradation, he can just put himself in a position to do well, and if the tyre degradation isn't as bad as they say it is, he's going to finish in the points, isn't he? Before the first round of pit stops, Nico Hülkenberg is always in and around the top 10 because of a cracking qualifying performance and just doing really, really well. So yeah, well done Nico Hülkenberg, honourable mention to you, but I do think these 5 drivers just deserve the brink of the top 5. But yeah, Nico Hülkenberg is certainly my 6th on the list, I would say that. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you all on Thursday for the next episode, of course, which will be the 5 worst drivers so far this season in Formula 1, the 2023 season. So be sure to tune in for that. See if you agree or disagree with these ones, of course, these top 5. And, of course, tune in on Thursday, see if you disagree or agree with my top 5 worst drivers. And just a quick reminder as well, drop a comment in the comments section below. And you could win this t-shirt, Lando Norris t-shirt, extra large. It's unisex as well, so it's male and female. Don't be afraid to enter. Anyone can win it. And I'll pick the winner on Thursday's episode, or let you know in the comments or something anyway. I'll sort something out, but yeah, it's very much a spontaneous one, this. But yeah, there you go. Lando Norris t-shirt up for grabs if you drop a comment below. Simple as that, isn't it? Thanks a lot for watching, guys. And as always, much love.